And what are you getting me for my birthday tomorrow? You got me a present yet? If you're a man, send me money. Please? Please send me money, please. If you're a girl, I don't ask you for anything. How about a high five? I know that's right.
The mask slips completely here. She's literally begging strangers on the internet for money just because she exists and has a vagina. This is the modern female mindset. Men exist to provide, women exist to receive. She doesn't even pretend there's value being exchanged. Just pure, unadulterated entitlement. You owe me money. This is what happens when society tells women they deserve everything for nothing. But look deeper at what she's really revealing here. She has different standards for men and women. Men are expected to send her money, but women get a free pass because they're part of her protected class. This is hypergamy in its purest form. She sees men as walking ATM machines whose only value is their ability to provide resources. She doesn't see men as human beings with their own struggles and financial responsibilities. To her, every man watching her content should be honored to fund her lifestyle. This isn't just individual greed. This is a systematic problem with how modern women view relationships with men. They've been conditioned to believe that male attention equals male obligation. If you look at her content, if you give her any kind of engagement, you now owe her something tangible in return. This is the OnlyFans mentality applied to everyday social interaction. She's monetizing basic human connection and then shaming men who don't participate in her financial exploitation. The most telling part is how casual she is about it. This isn't some desperate plea from someone in genuine need. This is transactional begging presented as cute and playful. She's normalized the idea that men should pay women for the privilege of existing in the same digital space. And the fact that she's comfortable making these demands publicly shows how far we've fallen as a society. We've created a generation of women who think male wallets are their personal piggy banks.
If you got a girl and you got a job, whenever you get paid, you should be at least sending her half your check. She shouldn't have to pay for shit. All she got to do is look good for you.
You guys, I'm just trying to get home from work. Please, I do not want a girlfriend. I don't need a girl. I'm just trying to get home from work. Please, leave me alone.
Kylie, how's your dating life going? I can't even get a text back.
You both have a boyfriend?
Yes, we do actually.
I have a boyfriend. I have a boyfriend. You do have a boyfriend? I have a boyfriend. I have a boyfriend. I'm so boyfriend. I have a boyfriend. I have a boyfriend. I have a boyfriend.
You have a boyfriend? You have like a boyfriend or anything?
Yeah, I have a partner.
Both of you have a boyfriend? Yeah. I have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
You know, I like the fast money, the fast lane, you know, but now that I'm going into my more era, I want something more mellow, calm, family oriented. I have a son, so I don't want a hood figure. So I went from more of my YG type to my Michael B. Jordan type.
When the last time you dealt with a toxic guy?
It's been about 2 years. And again, it's hard, but I'm not going back to my type per what I was told.
Per what she was
I'm a
told.
mother. I have almost 15-year-old, so someone that's family oriented that I can bring around. You ain't gonna bring a hood figure home. Well, at least not me, so yeah.
For some reason, I don't really believe it. I think it's still in there based off how you answering the question. It don't seem so sincere. It seemed like it's still in there, like a little sprinkle.
Classic post-wall pivot. She spent her prime years chasing thugs, criminals, and bad boys who gave her tingles, and now that she's used up with a bastard child, she suddenly wants a family-oriented man. Translation: she wants a beta provider to clean up the mess she made with alpha seed. She's literally admitting she's settling for a good man after getting pumped and dumped by the exciting ones. And she thinks this is a selling point. Listen to how she talks about her transformation. I'm going into my mature area, as if maturity is something that just happens to you at a certain age instead of something you develop through making good decisions. She spent years making terrible choices with men who were never going to commit to her, and now she's rebranding her desperation as growth. This is the alpha widow phenomenon in real time. She mentions she has a son, which means some other man's genetics won the lottery while the provider she's targeting gets to pay for another man's offspring. She's expecting a high-value man to not only accept her baggage but to be grateful for the opportunity. The audacity is staggering. She wants a Michael B. Jordan type. Translation: she still wants the same high-value men who rejected her when she was younger and more attractive, but now she's bringing less to the table than ever. The interviewer even calls her out on this, noting that she doesn't seem sincere about changing her preferences. And he's absolutely right. She's not actually attracted to stable, family-oriented men. She's settling for them out of necessity, not desire. This is why these relationships fail. You can't build a stable foundation with a woman who sees you as her consolation prize. She'll always resent you for not being the exciting bad boy she really wanted, and she'll never respect you because she knows you're accepting her leftovers. This is the modern dating market in a nutshell: women spending their 20s optimizing for excitement and drama, then expecting stable men to wife them up in their 30s when they finally realize their strategy was flawed. They want the benefit of their poor decisions without any of the consequences, and they expect men to be grateful for the opportunity to subsidize their mistakes.
We have allowed the black woman to make her own decisions for the last 50 years, and you know what she gave us? 250,000 babies aborted every year.
Oh my God.
Like 8 abortions in total.
I had 2 abortions this year. We
Hey, Walmart Hamptonville.
Bitch, you better be security because I'm about to punch your fucking ass. I'm about to punch you.
Hey, settle down right now. You hear what I'm saying? Relax.
Are you security?
I am security. I'm a
Back up. You're doing in uniform. I am.
Yeah.
Back up. Well, fuck you and get the fuck out of my face so I can change on, bitch. You don't think I'm security, that's security boat club. Got her. Fuck out my face. And knock your fucking cap off. Police. Pig.
This teacher has been fired after filming raunchy TikToks in her classroom. The dance-loving educator performed questionable dances with her students in a bid to engage them. She said, "One of my students invited me to dance with him and the class really enjoyed the interaction. I know how difficult it is for younger students to focus their attention. I can take advantage of their interest and bring them closer to teaching." The TikToker with almost 10 million followers was also called out online for her classroom attire and the content she posts on other sites.
Listen to this. Take advantage of their interest. She's literally admitting to using her sexuality to manipulate children in her classroom. This isn't teaching, it's grooming with extra steps. She's filming herself grinding on minors and calling it education. And the fact that she has 10 million followers shows you exactly how sick our society has become. These are the women raising the next generation, turning classrooms into strip clubs and calling it engagement. Think about what this represents for our educational system. We have a grown woman who is supposed to be educating children, but instead she's using them as props in her social media content creation. She's not thinking about their academic development or their future, she's thinking about her follower count and her brand. This is what happens when narcissistic women are given authority over vulnerable children. They can't help but make everything about themselves. This is the state of modern education, teachers more concerned with going viral than teaching multiplication tables. She's creating an environment where inappropriate behavior is normalized, where boundaries between adults and children are blurred, and where the focus shifts from learning to entertainment. And when she gets called out for it, she plays the victim.
In 2022, I got terminated from a travel nurse contract for posting a TikTok at work.
TikTok got me fired. A couple weeks ago, I started sharing about how I got a job in the tech industry.
I went viral for losing my job.
Ashley Carter, a former Barstool employee, filmed a day in the life TikTok that ended in a layoff.
That day I was going in and I had some things I had to do. I had a dinner with friends afterwards, and I felt like that would be the perfect day to sort of just like give a day in the life of someone in New York City.
But she had a meeting with her boss that didn't go as planned.
But when I got into the meeting, I saw an HR person sitting on the table and I went, oh no. And I packed up my stuff and left, and I thought of this TikTok. It was pretty funny and ironic, so I sort of just made the most of it, and like, you have to just laugh at yourself through your pain.
What you just witnessed is the complete breakdown of female accountability in Western civilization. These women represent everything wrong with modern society: teachers sexualizing children, random women demanding money from strangers, and used-up single mothers trying to rebrand themselves as wife material after years of terrible decisions. The teacher grinding on her students isn't an isolated incident. She's part of a generation of women who have completely abandoned their role as nurturers and protectors of children. Instead, they're using their positions of authority to satisfy their need for attention and validation. She's literally competing with her teenage students for TikTok clout, turning her classroom into content for her OnlyFans pipeline. And when she gets fired, she plays the victim instead of acknowledging that she violated the basic trust parents place in educators. The birthday money beggar represents the entitled princess mentality that's infected an entire generation of women. They've been told they're queens who deserve to be worshipped simply for existing. She doesn't offer anything in return: no companionship, no value, no service, just demands payment for breathing. This is what happens when you tell women they're special without requiring them to do anything special. They become professional victims who monetize their own mediocrity. But the single mother's story is the most telling of all. She admits she spent her 20s chasing excitement and danger, making terrible choices that resulted in a fatherless child. Now she's trying to rebrand herself as marriage material, targeting stable men she wouldn't have looked at twice when she was young and attractive. This is their strategy in full display: get pregnant by the criminal, then hunt for the engineer to pay the bills. The guy sees right through her bullshit, calling out her obvious lies about wanting a family-oriented man. Even other women can smell the desperation and deception. She's trying to convince everyone, including herself, that she's changed, but her body language and responses scream that she's still chasing the same toxic patterns that destroyed her life the first time. This is the modern sexual marketplace in a nutshell. Women have been given unlimited freedom to make terrible decisions, and when those decisions inevitably blow up in their faces, society tells them they deserve a second chance with a good man. They've weaponized their own poor choices, turning their failures into victimhood narratives that somehow make them more deserving of commitment from the very men they rejected during their prime years. Meanwhile, the good men they're now targeting have been watching this circus their entire lives. They've seen women choose excitement over stability, danger over safety, tingles over commitment. They've watched their female peers spend their most fertile and attractive years giving their best to men who would never commit to them, only to come crawling back when their options dried up. This is why increasing numbers of men are walking away from the dating market entirely. Why would any self-respecting man sign up to be someone's safety net after she spent her prime years as someone else's playground? Why would he invest his resources in raising another man's child while being treated like a consolation prize? The truth is that these women represent the inevitable end result of feminism. When you remove all consequences for female behavior, when you eliminate male authority, when you destroy traditional family structures, this is what you get: a generation of women who are simultaneously more entitled and less valuable than any in human history. They've been told they can have it all, do it all, be it all, without any accountability or responsibility. The result is a cohort of damaged, delusional, and desperate women who offer nothing but baggage and attitude while demanding everything in return. And the most brutal truth of all? This is just the beginning. These women are raising the next generation of girls, teaching them the same destructive patterns, the same entitlement mentality, the same complete lack of accountability. The cycle continues, each generation worse than the last, until the entire system collapses under the weight of its own contradictions. Smart men are already adapting. They're going their own way, focusing on their careers, their health, their hobbies. They're traveling to countries where feminism hasn't completely destroyed feminine nature. They're investing in assets instead of liabilities. They're building lives that don't depend on female validation or approval. Because when you understand the game is rigged against you, the winning move is not to play.